something you can't fix.
If you can't fix what's broken, you'll go insane.
It's Jay and Adam. It's Preview.
It's Preview's Fix It with Adam and Jay.
Hey, Peaches! Welcome to Fix It, where friends don't let friends fix pop culture alone.
I'm Adam!
And I'm Jay. And you're our listener.
Listeners, hello!
Yeah, you've missed the listener call out as we've had a couple of banked episodes go out before that magical term entered our lexicon.
Listeners started later in the banked episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It entered our lexicon, is what I could say.
Good night, everybody.
It's been fun.
It's been 3 weeks, sir. It was nice seeing you. I'm just gonna go ahead and just take all of my things and go.
Great.
Yep.
It's been fun.
Lexicon.
And we're out.
Yep.
For those of you who are maybe tuning in for the first time, Adam and I are the two hosts of the absolute, incredibly, just complete runaway smash success of a YouTube channel. I really tried to find new words and they just didn't come.
That's the bit now. I'm waiting for you to come up with a new
No,
adjective.
you know what?
A larger adjective.
No, it is becoming religion in certain countries. Runaway successful.
Oh no.
YouTube channel Previewed, where we react to all sorts of content, mostly nerd stuff for the most part. And this is our podcast Fix It, where we take certain pieces of pop culture that maybe missed the mark, maybe didn't quite get there, maybe just didn't have enough to make it up that hill.
Oh, they were trying to run.
And they couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it. Vecna got him.
A little train that could, and it turns out they thought wrong.
And old Adam and Jay are here to push that thing up the rest of the hill.
We take stuff like that and we fix it. As always, this is an opinion show, so we might be fixing certain things that you don't think need to be fixed.
Well, unlike last week, I'm pretty sure everyone's going to be like, this one's fine to fix, guys. Don't worry about it. You're not ruining my childhood.
No, I think when fixing Rogue One, I think given the explanation that we did up top,
oh sure,
I think people understood where we were coming from.
Oh no, absolutely. After we got done with it, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, that's fine. That's perfectly fine." But before we recorded it, and we mentioned, "Hey, next week's episode is going to be Rogue One because Andor comes out next week, and your boys are doing synergy." By the way, it's working.
It's working.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.
This podcast is growing every week, and you guys are fantastic. We appreciate you guys being here and sharing it with your friends and stuff.
Yeah,
we assume that's what's happening. So thank you.
Good. Share it. We assume that's what's happening. Therefore, go out and do it.
Okay. But when we said we're going to do Rogue One, there was a knee-jerk reaction to, hey, wait a second. Go
to an end Why would you want to What were we talking about?
The knee-jerk reaction.
Yes.
And then we just spelled that. It was like, you know what? We're gonna do this from time to time. We're gonna do movies and shows and stuff that maybe people don't feel like needed to be fixed. But like, hey, here's an idea that might have made it a little bit better. I think we've earned a little bit of hey,
yes,
give us a chance first. And then
judge.
Judge.
We are having fun.
Yes,
this is not. We are not sitting here in our high and mighty chairs
These are the
calling
lowest
down
of chairs.
Condemnation. We're just trying to have fun.
Not yet. I'm sure we might run into a couple movies eventually. Like, everyone agrees this is really bad? Great. High holy chairs? Yeah. Lightning bolt. Two damage.
We will rain down destruction on certain properties. We even got comments. People were like, "I didn't think they needed to fix anything with the second Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie." I'm like, "Have you seen it?"
I was surprised at those comments as well.
I mean, I think it's all in good fun. But I was
sure.
like, okay.
There's nothing. If you like the movie, you like the movie. I mean, it is cheeky fun for what they wanted to do with that movie. They set out and accomplished it.
Yes,
so they nailed it. If you liked it, great. If you were more a fan of the first one and wanted more of the first one, well, that's where our fix is coming.
Yeah.
And I think with this week, when we're doing Thor Love and Thunder,
Love and Thunder,
Thor 4, or
Thor
We think we're so clever because we just
Four.
sure. I think everybody agrees. Like, oh yeah, this was a fun movie, but it just there were and this movie came out 2 weeks ago on Disney Day on the Disney Plus.
Yes, indeed.
I believe this is the first movie we're doing on the podcast that is the most recent movie.
Yes.
We're gonna do Morbius next week.
It's crazy.
Which
It's
is also more recent. Morbius
I
just
think,
came out on Netflix.
You know how we just talked about how we're gonna be dunking on a movie that everyone thinks needs to be dunked on? I think it might be next week. So shall it be written, so shall it be done.
I mean, are we gonna pull the Eternals energy? Possibly.
No,
maybe. Probably not.
Probably not.
But
We learned our lesson on our Eternals review.
we did. But also, nobody likes Morbius.
No.
Nobody likes Morbius. The fact that nobody likes Morbius confused Tony enough that they thought everyone was liking it because they were dunking on it. It's like, well, they dunk on things they like,
They're
right?
talking about it. So
Yeah,
it must
so
be
they're
good, right?
Back to the theaters. Like crickets. And now it's the #1 film on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that is next week. This week it's Thor.
Four. Yeah.
It's a silent F in this one.
Yes, indeed. But
He's a Nordic god. Jay.
before we get into
fjord.
fixing floor,
Soft J.
Adam, how you doing?
I'm excited to be back. I miss doing this. We haven't done one here in the office since the week before Labor Day, right?
Yeah, I was
So
hoping.
it's been like 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I was hoping that recording remotely the podcast was going to be actually a wild success and a runaway smash, and therefore we didn't have to set up all the crap.
But Jay, it's so much better with 3 cameras instead of just 2.
Here's the thing: it is actually entirely way better. It is way better in person. But part of me was like, what if it's really great this way? You know, I don't have to move anything in my house or like clean my office, so it doesn't look like an insane person works out of here. And it's like, just nerd stuff with a battle axe on his wall, like a normal person.
Yeah, and tons of hats.
Yeah. But I'm excited. This show is we have fun doing this show.
Yes.
Easy. We weirdly talk about this more than we do most other content that we're making right now.
Well, because we had a lot of forethought that goes into it.
Yeah, because it is not just a reaction where it's just like we just take it right off the dome. We actually have to think
We're not
about
Mystery
it.
Science Theater 3000 in this. We are actually like, okay, wait a second, what's wrong with this movie?
Well, Mystery Science Theater, they write all of their bits beforehand.
Oh, sure. I mean, we just do the improv version of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, for this, this just scratches that other itch I love about stuff. You know, the watching things with your best friend and like mocking it and having fun while you're watching it's one thing. We got that covered.
We got that in spades.
Absolutely. But this is now like, okay, we just watched it, and we've done this, we go see a movie, and then we talk about it on the way home.
Yeah.
This is just, we talk about it on the way home a couple days afterwards, and we thought about it. It's like, okay, and I also got to figure out a way how to make it better. It's this. Blah. Fully formed idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do that sound one more time?
There's a lot of soft J's in there. I don't know if you heard. In the spirit of our space Vikings, soft J's across the board for the whole episode.
Hi, I'm Soft J. I just needed a one-word suggestion.
No, I'm happy to be back.
Okay.
And I'm happy that, I mean, we've been crazy busy. Were you getting COVID sucked?
Yes.
Obviously, for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
But one of them was it kind of backed up the schedule a little bit.
Yeah.
So it made the workload to catch up. And then this is the first time, I think, in the history of our award-winning queen, royal...
What you doing there, bud?
I was trying to improv.
No. Keep coming. Keep it coming.
I was gonna say
Royal Knighted?
Just
say that.
Royally Knighted YouTube channel.
Yeah.
That there is a day and release show the majority of the week.
Yes.
We've never run into this situation before.
Because I will say, and I didn't really realize like how helpful it was, but the fact that we record on Monday really has been throwing off my week. You and I would have Mondays to be like, okay, like what are we doing this? Like we would
take a breath
and like refocus. Like the office Mondays were like really important for us, like not like going insane.
Yeah.
And like record like House of the Dragon on Mondays is like, I was like, oh, it'll be fun. We never record on Mondays. No, it's actually messing things up.
Yeah.
I will say, like, the COVID backlog, like, it wasn't that bad getting caught up.
We got caught up in a week. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah, but
then we
Cobra Kai
ran right into next week having the 3 Andors this week.
Yeah.
Plus all the other day of releases and trying to catch up with, start Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Thank God for grace. Or else, like, I don't even know where
there's no way what would have happened.
And it's our favorite. Like, here's the thing. You guys hopefully have started to watch some of the Cobra Kai stuff.
Yeah.
Because we're recording this on Friday, and hopefully a couple of them have already been out by now. But and we were talking about this a little bit in, like, I think one of the behind-the-scenes things before we were shooting.
Yeah.
That this past week has been such a roller coaster ride. We started shooting the Cobra Kai reactions last weekend. I think we did it Saturday, right? Saturday, we took Sunday off, and then came back to it Tuesday. Yes. We've done 5 episodes. We're
halfway through.
We're halfway through as of this recording right now. We did 3 on Saturday and 2 on Friday. The energy level from that last Saturday to now on this Friday has been high point. First 3 episodes of Cobra Kai. It was amazing. Hot D. This is insane and crazy. More Cobra Kai all the way up. And/or kind of like, whoa, what? Slow burn. Thursday, She-Hulk, yay. And then and/or, oh, also good. And then Rings of Power, which is still squaw in the middle.
Squaw.
It's right. It's right down the middle of the plate.
I think once Rings of Power starts actually hitting, it'll actually be the best show, one of the best shows. But it is taking its sweet time.
It's just a big wind up in that show.
Yeah,
it's enjoyable, but just it's a long wind up.
And I can only speak for myself. I guess for me, getting COVID was for us COVID sucked. Like, it really kicked my ass, if I'm being honest. But what was frustrating, the more so than most, was like I could feel it in both of us. I was like, we are getting to a point where like we need to take some time off. Like we need like a long weekend or something, like kind of hard. Yeah. And me having COVID like kind of boned that, at least for me, because I was like, I am not rested. I feel terrible. Like, and there are some symptoms of COVID that I feel like are extraneous and a little rude, quite frankly. I'm not going to go into it because it's a little scatological, but I was like, really? This too? That's mean. That's not fair. I was like, I already feel terrible. And now this? No, thank you. But now that at this point, I just feel like we're kind of just running until Thanksgiving at this point. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
I mean, the whiteboard, thank God for the whiteboard. So we have a running total of like, okay, we have 3 She-Hulks left, 5 Who's of the Dragons, 9 Andors, 4 Lord of the Rings, and 5 more Cobra Kais. And then we have some Tales of the Jedi coming up next month.
Oh, yeah.
And then other than that, though, unless there's a Squid Game popping out of nowhere on Netflix.
There probably is going to be something.
The next thing is not until Thanksgiving. I would assume Thanksgiving for Willow.
And when does Willow drop?
End of November, I believe.
Okay.
They said November. I think it's the end of. I hope it's the end of.
We'll see. We might be a little late to that because I am going away for Thanksgiving. But
oh, sure. But like, yes, we find ourselves in a situation where, and even somebody noticed it in a couple of the videos, how our energy has been a little weird.
Yes,
we're having a harder time, kind of like fusion dancing. We're like fat goat tanks instead of just like badass cool guy. Was he ever cool? Not really.
What?
I'm talking about Dragon Ball Z.
Cool, man.
Don't even worry about it.
Oh,
everybody at home got it.
Oh, the Fortnite characters. I love those guys.
I'm gonna Sir Kristen you in the face with that mic, sir. Yeah, our energy's been a little rough because we don't have a chance to fully recharge. Mm-hmm. We're getting kind of middling recharging, and then we're jumping right back in because there's just stuff to do. So it's just been a little rough.
Yeah.
which is why I'm happy to do this.
Were they at least nice comments?
Oh, sure. They just noticed, like, hey, we just noticed like your energy is just a little different. And I was like, yeah, I didn't write anything back, but I was in my head, like, yeah, okay, yeah, we know it is. We're just a little tired because we're not burning out, but the battery is slowly degrading. Where we have to consciously choose not to do more Cobra Kai, even though we desperately want to.
Although
but we need to recharge.
Leaving it at episode 5 though, because we were like, let's do 3 so we can get closer. But when we got to the end of 5, it was like, nah, we're done.
Yeah,
I want to sit in how awesome that episode was for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to just stir that big old Cobra Kai stew. Just yum 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 yum. God, that show is so bad, and I love it. It's so stupid. It's the best. All right.
So I'm good. You're doing all right. Our batteries are kind of like halfway charged.
I'm making my way back to all right. Making my way back to all right after COVID, after having the pandemic.
Okay. Do you want to talk about the movie we rewatched last night?
Thor 4.
This is the first time that we're watching a movie that we have rewatched kind of recently after watching it, because it only came out in June. No, July.
Keep naming months.
3 more months.
This is fun. I love this game.
It came out in July. So like I kind of remembered most of it, but rewatching it last night on 1.5 times speed just to kind of like refresh my memory and kind of get through it. Because I remembered most of it.
Yes.
But rewatching it last night, I remember how we felt after the movie after the first time we watched it, because we did a whole review on it. It was like 20 minutes on the channel, and everything we said in there stands.
Yes.
But rewatching it now and not having to, since I already know what's going to happen, I can see more details or whatever.
Yes.
This movie, it is an efficient movie.
Yes, it gets.
It really just
if you break it down to the plot points, not a lot happened. Like it's like bing bang boom.
And they doubled up a lot. They did their best to cram as much information, as they like at the very beginning. That scene with Gore at the beginning with his daughter. Fantastic. Well done.
Yes.
And he grabs a necrosword, kills the one god, and then immediately gets the information of, like, go to the Door of Eternity and get the Bifrost to open it and we'll kill everybody. Like, I didn't remember that happened in the first scene.
Yeah.
I just thought he got the sword. Mm-hmm. But the fact he was like, get the Bifrost. I thought that just kind of happened somewhere later and I missed it. No, it happened in the first scene.
Yeah.
And then we're off to the races.
Well, that opening scene, I mean, I don't think either of us is going to change that. That stuff was excellent.
I mean, it's like up. I mean, I would want more of it. To be honest, I want more of it. Just a little bit more, because that scene is so important to the end of the movie.
Oh, agreed.
Because it's the same, like, then he's watching Thor and Jane go through exactly what he did, and that's partly what helps him let go of his grief.
Yeah.
So, like, having a little bit more there, I'm talking like a minute. Nothing, not to like draw it out too much.
Yeah.
But just a little bit more than Dad, I'm tired. And then he's hugging it. Like, a movie's efficient. Like, we only got a little less than 2 hours because they really trimmed this thing. There is no fat, and they were cutting meat out of this movie.
Well, yeah. I mean, they also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they have like 2 more hours of footage laying around or something. Like they shot a ton for this movie and like cut it to ribbons.
Really?
I think Taika Waititi is on record as saying that he is like, there's like an hour and a half of footage that just like isn't in the movie. But I think he also admits he's like, but it didn't need to be in the movie. Like it's the kind of thing where it's like shoot fat and edit lean. You know?
Sure, but like it would make more sense. If there was, maybe a little bloat would be good. You like a little fat on the meat just for taste.
If I'm being honest, structurally, I don't have too many issues with this movie from like a point A to point B storytelling version. It's that, I mean, there are some things that I'm going to be fixing in here. but they're more like delicate swaps rather than like a full like rebuild.
We're going in with surgical implements and not a hammer.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big giant axe rather than a hammer. You know, so it has like a cutting edge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a big
yeah,
jealous
yeah,
hammer
yeah.
or axe that hammer axe that is jealous. You're talking to your old weapon.
Stormbreaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This was like the first MCU movie that I think you and I were both kind of meh on.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm like, we've left MCU movies hating them.
Yes, we have.
Hashtag Eternals.
Hashtag I stand by it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not
Hashtag
changing.
haven't changed my mind yet.
I don't even know if there's any like our Eternals fix. That should be like a live episode or something, or some kind of event or something, because like that would take like a couple of weeks for us to both like. If
I'd have to wipe off the whole whiteboard and be like, okay,
if we're gonna do it, we have to do it right, and we
Yeah.
would have to do the research enough to know these characters better, to write them better. Like that'd be a whole different heavy lifting thing. But yeah, I remember you and I were silent on our ride back, and that we were both kind of like, huh. It's not that there was a lot of like us going back and forth being like, I mean, like, you know, I'm like, it wasn't bad.
Oh.
It wasn't, but like, you
I
know.
mean, we kind of had the same reaction to Multiverse of Madness.
I liked Multiverse more than you did.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you like Scarlet Witch more than I do.
That is, yeah, she's my gal.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's absolutely my gal. So I had like, no, I thought Multiverse was way better than this.
Interesting.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Maybe I need to rewatch it. Well, we'll eventually do it here because it needs a little bit of fixing.
I don't know if I want to do it. I don't know if it
Well,
needs
it's too
to.
bad, Jay. Well, no.
I don't want to fix it. You can fix it with somebody else.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, bud.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this movie just like it wasn't. I feel like this movie, Thor, had a tendency to. It was like what the producers saw worked in the third one, and so they decided to put more of that in the fourth one. But what they didn't realize is that what made it work in the third one is that like the story was really strong. So like you could have the funny bits because like the wheels stayed on the road.
Yep.
Like some of these bits make the cart wobble so much that like they kind of fall off the tracks a little bit, and it's like, what are we actually doing here?
They had the right level of comedy in the third one, and they upped it in the fourth one, and they didn't need to. It needed to be at the same level as the third one.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you liked mustard on your hot dog? That must mean you want more mustard.
No. I figured out the perfect
ratio
of mustard to ketchup to hot dog. Yep.
Are you a ketchup on a hot dog person?
Ketchup and mustard on a hot dog.
Ketchup
And mustard on a hot dog. And then I spin it so that it's not just on the top, it's on the whole surface. Equal distribution around the bun.
I can't tell what's so to you, it is grosser to bite into a hot dog that only has the sauce on the top, even though you're getting it in the bite.
I just like it mixed.
But it's not as gross as you grabbing the end of a hot dog and spinning it like a little weird little.
Yeah.
Yuck. I looks like I hate it.
You know, since we're talking about food, this might be the perfect time for Brian to come in with his beautiful bean fun fact footage.
Yeah, Brian. Fill us in on all the fun facts about Thor. Thor Love and Thunder.
Spin this hot dog.
As he spins that hot dog, roll that beautiful bean fun fact footage.
Hello, gentlemen. Producer Brian here. I just want to take a quick second to say that I am going to try the hot dog spin, and I will let you know how it goes. But today, we are trying to fix 2022's Thor Love and Thunder, also known as Thor. Directed by Taika Waititi and starring Chris Hemsworth, Natalie Portman, Christian Bale, Tessa Thompson, and Russell Crowe, this movie's budget was $250 million, and it made about $760 million. If you care, it has a 64% on Rotten Tomatoes, and actually, of all the MCU movies on Rotten Tomatoes, it is second worst, still considered fresh, just above Eternals. Anyway, back to you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Brian.
Good job, Brian.
Adam's been spinning a hot dog the whole time. That whole time.
And now the mustard and ketchup is evenly distributed throughout the whole hot dog. It's going to be delicious when I reheat it after the podcast and eat it.
Bluff. Bluff. No thanks. So.
Yeah. Here's the thing. So, like, a little bit more of just not deep diving, but just, like, more notes I took about the movie as I was watching it.
Okay.
They cut a lot of really good things out of this movie. Like, I know, for example, the first thing I think probably both of us is going to be in our fix. But Jane shows up, and the hammer starts, and then we just cut away from it, and we never see the hammer reforge itself.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a moment
That sucks.
we should have seen.
Yeah.
And we didn't see it at all. We just see Jane swoop into the fight scene that happens a couple minutes later. Here's the other thing. When Thor and Korg show up to help find Sif, like, Sif knows, like, oh, he's going to attack Asgard. We got to go. Cut to Asgard. Gore shows up. He's already there. Stabs the ground with a necro sword. Shadow monsters start attacking the town. And, like, you can hear the kids. You see the kids and you hear creepy sounds, right? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, Valkyrie rides in on her Pegasus, stabs, throws a thing, stabs a shadow monster, and then Thor shows up. Like, she stabbed a thing, then Thor shows up in the next shot. When Thor shows up in the next shot, there are way more monsters and parents fighting shadow monsters all over Asgard.
Yeah.
The previous shot was just Valkyrie throwing and stabbing something through the face. They cut out, I don't know how much, of the actual fight happening between the parents of Asgard and these shadow monsters. And also, where's Sif? Like, a lot happened in that cut.
Yeah, Sif got her arm cut off.
Yeah, and she was brought back to Asgard. But
she's probably on the mend, dude. She got attacked.
No. But, like, they Bifrost from Sif with Sif to Asgard, dropping right in the middle of the fight, and Sif is gone.
Oh, yeah.
And the scene, like, clearly the battle's been going on for a while. Like, why did we cut all this? Oh, man, I would have liked to see, Asgard rise up and protect their children.
Yeah.
And then we're just like, no, we don't have time for this. We got to go. Because, like, I took a note. What was it? The kids are kidnapped. No, Gore shows up at 30 minutes into the movie. And the kids are kidnapped in about at 40 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Gore's killed two gods at that point, and it's the only two gods he kills in the whole movie. And the kids are kidnapped, and we got to go.
Yeah.
I was like, man, basically this movie has a really, really good story.
Yes, but I would say I think the story structure is good. I think, and what's going into a large amount of my fix is that thematically, this movie has no idea what it's trying to do. Like, there's no overarching lesson learned here. There's no overarching art. What frustrates me the most about this movie is that at the end of this movie, the Thor we started with is basically the Thor we ended with. Certain circumstances of his life have changed.
Yeah.
But it's basically the same character. Our character doesn't learn a lesson. Our character doesn't grow. Really.
Well,
it's in small, minute ways.
He could have if they had more time to show certain aspects of his character earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
Like when Korg, right in the middle of the fight scene, Jane shows up. They're like, Jane? Cut to Korg flashback of this is what happened to Thor and Jane. I got to talk for the next 2 minutes to catch you guys up on their backstory that we didn't cover in any other MCU movie.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, man. And in that 2.5 minutes or so, we only got a bare, nod that Thor was thinking of having a kid with Jane. but it was never actually mentioned. It was just implied in a look.
It's all implied.
And then it's just like, well, they both had different versions of what they thought about the future, but like both of them were too scared to talk about it, and they started fighting about other things. And I was like, there are many reasons relationships can fall apart, but like this seems like it's you could have damn it.
Yeah.
The reason why Jane and Thor break up is integral to the end of the movie. So, like, we really needed that to be rock solid as a reason why they broke up.
Yeah.
What was the reason?
Uh-huh.
And it's like, oh, they just kind of, like, drifted apart because they didn't feel like talking about their visions of the future is not...
It's not enough.
Good enough.
It's not good enough.
For
it's just not.
Later on the boat and then later with Eternity. It's just like...
Yeah.
But the general theme of the movie, of how things were going, was there. I just felt like they didn't give enough time to the certain points they needed to hit to make the end of the movie really hit.
Yeah.
Because it could have really hit. It could have been close to Tony's sacrifice. It would never eclipse it, but it could have been close to the fact of like, oh, this is a really emotional.
But also like, it also speaks to the movie, and that's one thing we talked about right after seeing it, was that like, when I didn't cry when Jane died.
Neither did I.
Like, and not like, and like didn't even come close. I was kind of like, well, all right. Like, that sucks, but okay.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, we could have cried with her. It could have been a real emotional gut punch, like a really cathartic, like, yeah, okay, but like it's just frustrating when you watch an entire like, and I know a lot of people are saying like you shouldn't put expectations on the MCU movies, like its expectations are kind of like are what's killing these movies, and I'm like, yes, but to a degree, and if you're gonna make me go to an entire full, like, now that we have all the television shows telling the smaller stories and stuff like that, you're gonna make me go to an entire motion picture. And I just don't feel like anything's really gonna change anything. That doesn't seem like what are we doing here now? Because I am under the impression that anytime like a full-on movie comes out in the MCU, like it is going to like affect everything going forward. Mm-hmm. And this was like in a bubble in a way that like could have felt like why not do this as a show then? Why can't we expand this a little bit differently? Like why did this need to be a movie? Because it's like, we cut a lot of stuff out to like make it a movie. I'm like, well, then maybe you shouldn't have done that, and you should have just like maybe found a different format, or maybe found something different. Well, that's the thing. It seems like, and Brian, you can back me up on this. I believe the budgets for the movies and the TV shows are kind of similar. I mean, obviously the movies have a bigger advertising budget, clearly.
Yes,
but I think just production budget, I think they're close. The show's probably maybe a little less, probably, but not by much.
Hi, Adam. Producer Brian here. Happy to help. Each episode of an MCU TV show costs about $25 million. So a full season of a show is equal to more or less one MCU movie. Back to you.
But they are making technically more content than the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So why at this point why are we choosing certain stories to be movies and certain stories to be shows? And it seems like Multiverse of Madness and this had such a large and good story at the heart of it that I think having it as a movie, which makes sense because these characters are movie characters,
yeah, but
we're kind of got the short end of the stick because the story needed to be chopped down to movie length. And if it was, and if anything is proven that, we can sit in a movie theater for 2.5 hours as long as it's good. Like the Batman crushed it this year.
Yeah.
And people are willing to sit here and watch your awesome story and movie if it's good. And I think Multiverse of Madness and this warranted a 2.5 hour, if not slightly more, to just make sure that all of your points were hit and that all the moments, character moments had a moment to breathe to give you the emotional resonance that you're looking for towards the end of the movie.
But I think it still stands like at the end of it all, like even if like the story that they're telling, even if it's like a little bit longer, I still am not understanding what the whole point of it all was, other than just like to just have fun. And I'm not saying that can't be enough reason.
Sure.
Because like there's a lot of comics out there. It's like we're having a good time making this comic.
Sure.
And that's fine and that's enough. But I don't know. It just feels like it just feels like a little bit much. I think we should probably move into the fixes.
Let's move into the fixes. I think we should. Yeah. Let's fix it. What? Brian said I have to do that. Brian said, and again, Brian, you jump in. You're the producer. Brian told us to like.
No, I know.
Really,
it's just
you gotta enunciate
it. The way you say it, I don't know. It's just fix it. You gotta put, you gotta feel it in your like your diaphragm. You gotta get it down in there. Hey, won't you fix it? Fix it.
Fix it. That's how I. Fix it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Thank you, Adam. This is what the people want. It introduces a new segment, and it's super fun to say. Fix it. See? Back to you, gentlemen.
Can I get a oh yeah?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It doesn't leave your below your throat. You gotta get it. You gotta feel it in your body. You know. Okay, so for my fix,
Yes.
a couple of tent poles of my fix.
Sure.
And it's like a first tent pole. It's what I mentioned earlier was that I think there's this movie like thematically isn't strong enough, and there aren't enough. There like our characters don't go through really a strong enough arc in my opinion.
Okay.
And I think there's just like my fix is far more subtle, and there's little things, bits and bobs in which I want to drive the point home. The other tentpole of my fix is that I read in an article that Taika Waititi said like kind of what makes it a little bit more fanciful and a little bit like weirder is that this movie is supposed to be told from Korg's perspective.
The whole movie?
Like the whole story is like being told by Korg, and so that's why it's like a little wackier. Which
Oh, that didn't come across at all.
That's the thing. I think that's actually genius if you actually if you set your intentions strong and then you work on from there, then I think that actually makes the wackiness of the movie completely fine.
Oh yeah, because they only did it 3 times. The opening, when they talk about Jane and Thor's backstory, and then the ending. Other than that, we never hear Korg interrupt with any information the audience needs.
Exactly.
Oh, that the whole movie. Okay, that makes way more sense.
It makes way more sense.
But it should have been a little bit more like
it's got to be
like
way
Princess
more.
Bride. Like he's like
or How I Met Your Mother.
Every once in a while, it's like it's back to the book. It's like
100%. And that's one thing I'm driving home with this. I think we are keeping the gore opening.
Sure.
Like, because that's
great.
Very, very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are setting up after the gore opening. We set up like it is Korg like filling a cup of coffee. He is sitting down in kind of that futuristic. He's in that like futuristic apartment that Thor is in, or like the ship or whatever.
Oh, okay.
At the end of the movie.
Oh,
like he's sitting down at like the kitchen table and is like, you want to. You want to hear all like this crazy story about Korg? We don't see who he's talking to, but he's talking to the audience. He's talking to us. And I like the idea that Thor is like kind of doing stuff in the background, like in the kitchen, like he's making breakfast and stuff. And then Korg sits down and is like, you want to tell me about that? Like I'll tell you about like some fun Thor stories. And then he like starts one, and then Thor's like, "That's not how that happened." You know what? Don't even tell that one. So like we get like some fun little vignettes of Thor doing wacky stuff. Like, and you can even have like one where like it's the story of like he's telling the story, but it's like Matt Damon and the other guy. It's like that wasn't even us. That was that one play you saw that didn't even happen that way. It's like, oh, okay, well, sorry. I'll tell you that. You want to hear about the story of what was
the Asgardians of the Galaxy?
The Asgardians of the Galaxy, and then we set up. And then we basically set up in the movie like way we normally do, with Thor, with the Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking that segment is where, that's where we're gonna roll credits.
Okay.
Because we're gonna see, we're gonna have the Guardians and Thor like fighting like a big space battle against a big space monster.
Kind of like what happened at the beginning of Guardians 2.
Kind of like the beginning of Guardians 2. But as the Guardians are like fighting, as all of them are fighting like this big monster, like they're all like, ah, like it's getting nuts. But then Thor's just kind of like, it's Fat Thor, and he's just kind of like, he is definitely helping them win this fight, but he is clearly his heart is just not in it. He's just kind of like scooping stuff, just the whole thing. And then it's like, or if anything, like all of the successes come from him, like kind of screwing up kind of thing.
Okay, sure.
Because he's just clearly his heart is not in it. And then like the credits end, and it's just the Guardians and Thor, and they're just like, well, we won. And it's just Rocket is getting up in Thor's face, was like, you're not even like, you're supposed to be the God of Thunder, and you can't even like you can't even keep your room clean. Like, what are you even doing here, man? Like, and they're going through this whole thing, and I think that's where Thor kind of like, we kind of see him kind of have a little bit of a breakdown.
Okay.
With these characters, like the Thor bit of him kind of being smarmy all the time doesn't land anymore.
No, it really, because it felt like we were past that.
And I feel like that's where we're back on the ship, and Thor's trying to kind of do that stuff, and I think it finally cuts through when Drax is finally like, You are hiding with the way that with the way the manner in which you hold yourself is hiding your true feelings. And he's like, like if Drax sees
Drax is, yes.
like
Well, his vision is very good.
Yeah, and I think we see like we have like kind of like a heart to heart, like with Thor, like he denies it and kind of has like a freak out and maybe like kind of breaks something, and I think it's him and Star-Lord like have like drinks on the roof of the ship or something. I don't know. Something to the degree where like we kind of see the Thor that like the kind of bravado character kind of break a little bit. And I know that Star-Lord and Thor had a little bit of a heart to heart. Like,
yeah,
but
watching it again,
but it was a bit the whole time.
It was, yes,
and it didn't mean anything.
No, it didn't. Yes,
and it really
shouldn't have been a bit.
It really bummed me out.
Yes,
I want Thor to hear the story of Star-Lord's mom dying of cancer. I want him to...
that's very good.
And I like the...
Unbeknownst about what's to happen.
Has no clue. Yep. And he's just like, I had to... And Thor's just like, I just like don't know if I'm like jiving with this group, and I don't know who... And like the Avengers are great, but like they're just my work friends. Like, like there could be jokes in there. Like they can be funny, but like, and it's the kind of thing, it's like, I just like don't know. I've only felt comfortable around one person, and now she's not, we just didn't work out. And like, I feel like I'm just like drifting through the galaxy right now. And Star-Lord's just like, hey, like, that's okay. Like you can, like you have all the time in the world to like find your people, but like,
it really does. Yeah.
And if we're not your people, like that's okay. But like, we think you're great and all, but like, if this isn't clearly working out, but like we're here to help you get where you need to go. And that's where the training montage starts. And I love the training montage being helped by the Guardians.
Yes!
I like them,
yes!
You know what I mean?
Yes, I have something similar.
Like,
yes!
I want him doing the ropes with Groot.
Yes!
I don't want him doing it with the chains.
No!
I want it with Groot.
Yes!
You know what I'm saying? Like, I want him to have like a meaningful, I want the Guardians to like have a meaningful...
Well, because after the events of Infinity War and Endgame, his found family, the Avengers broke down. He really broke down, kind of came back, figured out he was worthy again, killed Thanos, lost some of his best friends.
Yeah.
And now, like, I'm just floating through the universe with the Guardians.
And then he's felt like it was just a bit the whole time. And I was like, where is the guy what went through this journey?
Exactly.
But I feel like, so I want Star-Lord to have, I want him to have the heart-to-heart about his mom dying, but then him finding... And like telling about like Yondu like kind of became my father, like, and he's like, that guy was an asshole. It's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, but that's just how it works. But then I like the idea of him being like, look, I mean, like if this is the one person you've ever felt close to, like maybe it might be like, hell, the one person I felt close to is technically from another dimension now, and she's trying to kill me a lot. So, but I'm trying to make it work. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe it's worth a shot. And that's what inspires him to go through the training montage, yada, 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 yada. And then I like the idea of them getting Sif's emergency call from the ship, and they go to help her. Now, the difference being Sif is actively fighting Gore at that moment. Like, we're having Gore and all of his shadow creatures and whatever the aliens on this planet are. Mm-hmm. Like, hell, it could even be like the Dark Elves or whatever. I don't care. Something Thor-y. Mm-hmm. But I like the idea of the Guardians, Thor, and Sif all kind of taking this on. I mean, like, this guy is not messing around at all. And I want to see Sif lose her arm.
Yep.
I want Thor to, like, realize that, like, this is a threat. This is a person that I care about. Oh no. Like, I want this to be, like, the unraveling of, like, what he was trying. Like, okay, I'm going to get a new start on this. Oh no, this is starting to unravel. Mm-hmm. We get that whole thing. It's like, cool. We need to, like, they beat Gore off, like, get him away. I think maybe it's something to the fact that, like, the Guardians are like, cool, like, we can put him in stasis, but I'm like, we're gonna have to bail. And then they're like, well, I gotta take Sif back to Asgard. It's like, well, I think this is where we
gotta part.
And so the Guardians take off, and they're like, look, we're gonna send our 18 distress signals that way. You go that way. We're going this way. Like, get out of here. This is bad. Mm-hmm. They go back to
New
Asgard. But as they hit the Bifrost Bridge, we cut back to Korg. And Thor's just like, you're missing, like, the best, like, you're missing, like, you're just gonna go right back to Asgard. Like, you're missing a big part. Like, if anything, I want Thor and Korg going back and forth to be a commentary on the movie we did get.
Yes.
It's like, you're cutting, like, I want there to be a meta conversation for a movie that doesn't technically exist, because this movie exists. Be like, you're missing, like, a big part of, like, a new character that's, like, pretty cool and like went through a, like, really cool journey. So we get all the, like, as they hit the Bifrost, that we have that conversation, then we get into the Jane stuff.
Right.
And then we give Jane a proper origin story. Like, full on, like,
back from the blip.
All of that stuff about her going through chemo and all of that stuff, I think is awesome. And all of her research, and, like, she's researching herself to death. I think all of that is great. I think it all works. I think, if anything, she gets called to New Asgard. We see the hammer reforge. But the hammer, I think, speaks to her. I think if we're going to...
Yes.
The hammer, like, doesn't just, like, send signals. Like, she's hearing a full-on voice that's like, you need to come here.
Yes.
This is why you need to be here.
Yes.
Like, and I think that's the special relationship that she has with the hammer that Thor doesn't.
Yeah, because she can hear the storm that's imprisoned in the hammer.
Yes.
Yes.
And the hammer reforges, and we get to see Jane have the hammer, and then suddenly feel, like, invincible, obviously, because she's Thor. But then we get to see New Asgard deal with someone who they think is just cosplaying as Thor.
And that happens. It's a destination now. People come. Yeah, they visit. People cosplay as
Everyone's
Thor.
like, she's like walking through New Asgard, and people are like, "Oh, cool, new Thor! Like, oh, Lady Thor, this is fun.
That's nice.
Oh,
yeah.
I'll take a picture."
Right,
and she's
cool,
just like,
No, this is the real.
But I like the idea that, like, as she's doing that, she, like, kind of, like, accidentally drops the hammer, but, like, tries to pick it up by the thing and, like, accidentally spins it and flies out. And she's like, like, thunderbolt, like, oh no, and then I think that's where Valkyrie gets involved, because she's in New Asgard, obviously, and I think, like, we get to have a little bit of a montage of her of Valkyrie doing her best on, like, teaching her how to be Thor.
Yeah.
And what that means, and, like, all of that good fun stuff. But I also like the idea that we find out that, like, her being Thor is keeping the cancer at bay, like, earlier on.
Yeah.
We find that out, that's a secret that she keeps, like, from jump. And then after we get through all of that stuff, and then finally that's when like they're like, oh, da, 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 da. That's when the shadows come, and then the Bifrost just drops in, and we go,
Oh, we've caught up.
We've caught up. I mean, I think that's if most people were change anything, that'd be like, just change the Jane stuff. We wanted to hang out with Jane more.
Yeah.
Like, stop making her a prop. That's why she didn't want to be in these movies to begin with.
That's right.
Like, it's like what they did to her was already why she didn't want to be in the MCU. And then I think we keep like, honestly, I think we keep the shadow fight's great. The kids getting kidnapped, I think, is really interesting. But I want to have just like, I want to have a little bit of time with, a little bit more time with Thor and Jane.
Yeah.
And so I think that like the Bifrost needs to recharge or something. Like, there's an issue with the Bifrost.
Sure.
We can't hit this planet we need to go to.
Mm-hmm.
We can't go to
Omnipotent City.
Yes, we can't get there until like the next moon cycle. I don't know.
Sure. Reasons.
But I want like through flashbacks and through their conversations, like, and her being like, hey, like, can you teach me a couple things about being Thor? And like, she's being nice, even though like he saw her fight and he's like, oh, she's better with the hammer than I am. That's
Yeah.
frustrating. We find out more about their backstory, but what I want, all of the flashbacks and stuff about like why they didn't work. I like the idea of them having the full-on conversation of why didn't we work out?
Mm-hmm.
And Jane's like, why do you think we didn't work out? And Thor's like, well, I could kind of tell that like you wanted to like settle down and like, you know, you were like expecting like a family from me. And she's like, you just assumed that I was expecting things. She was like, that's the kind of, she's like, do I think we would have had a great kid? Yes. But that's not a conversation we ever had.
Yeah.
You just assumed, that we wanted to have a family, and you assumed that that's something that I wanted. And I wanted to like nail you down. And that was never the case. And you just kind of bailed. And it was like, you never really wanted like, and she was just like, you never really wanted to have kids. And he's like, that's not necessarily true. And she's like, then why did you just were gone? You were gone. Like, it was always work and it was always things. And it just, like, I like the idea of them having an adult conversation about it.
Yes.
And it's not Thor doing bits all the time.
No.
You can put bits in there.
Sure.
But it's just like when it's affecting your character's emotional availability in
Yes.
scenes where it needs to be emotionally available.
Yes.
That's where it needs to like wrap up, in my opinion. So we go to but Thor also has this conversation. It's like, I'm an Asgardian, like I'm a god. Like there's
thousands of years,
there are certain expectations of me.
Mm-hmm.
Blah 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 blah. And then we get to this fight and then that's what kind of starts a little bit of a fight, and that fight keeps going on after they get to Infinite City or whatever it is.
Omnipotent City.
Thank you.
2 words. I thought it was 1.
In my fix, guess who we're meeting, and not in a post-credit sequence.
Hercules.
Hercules meets them at the boat, yo. Hercules meets them at the boat, because also, who doesn't want more Roy Kent?
Everyone wants more Roy Kent.
But also, it sets up like the two of them are obviously fighting about this concept, and I think Thor and Valkyrie go off on their own, and he's like, "Ha, we're gods, it's me and me, Hercules. Remember when we did this? Remember when we did that?" And Korg's just like, "I don't remember that. Like you weren't there. Like we like
I felt like I was.
I felt like it was. Yeah. See, it writes itself." But I like the idea of Hercules and Thor like having him like them there being a little downtime before they have to go like meet like the big group of the gods.
Yep.
To get the lightning bolt. And then Hercules is like, "What were you guys fighting about?" I'm like, I don't know, having kids. And like, I just like I'm a god. Like there's certain things like I have certain expectations of me. And Hercules is just like, I have like 18 kids. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
What do you mean? And he's like, but you're a god. He's like, yeah, I'm a god. I can do whatever I want. He's like, we're gods. We have the luxury of defining whatever we want to be. Like, I understand that, like, look, you've had Odin and all this stuff, and there's been a lot of, like, protocol. But, like, we can kind of do, like, you can kind of be whoever you want to be. And Thor's like, oh, okay. And that's what kind of starts the journey of him being like, oh, I can do whatever I want. oh, I don't have to live in this like expectation and this like shadow of like, am I supposed to like take over for Odin? What am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to do?
Right.
I think we keep. Honestly, a lot of the god stuff was really funny. The rock guy sitting on the throne of scissors was. It took me too long to get that joke, but it was pretty funny.
I just got it. Thank you. I did.
Are you serious?
I'm not kidding. I didn't realize that was a throne of scissors. That's very funny. I didn't catch it.
Because Rock beats scissors.
Rock does beat scissors. I never got that. That's very funny.
And
the little dumpling god. Hey, that's like
yeah.
There's a lot of great jokes there.
Yeah, yes.
I totally missed that.
And so I think we keep all that sequence. We need the lightning bolt. We need to go get like Gore the God Killer is like, but I think it holds a little bit more weight because Thor like fully understands what Gore is capable of at that point.
Yes.
And he's like, you need to help me like go get these kids. Great. Okay. Nope. Not doing that. Like, oh, well, screw you when we kill Zeus, and that's all well and good. Honestly, I'm gonna I've kind of fixed what I think didn't work up until this point.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I want to transition into is I want to transition more towards the end because I think like from a pacing perspective, like I'm kind of happy with how everything goes.
Yeah,
At that
they
point.
talk on the boat again. They do the Shadow Realm. That fight's amazing.
Yes,
that
that fight is incredible.
That shot, yeah, everything there is fantastic.
Yeah, but I think it would also give the boat conversation a little bit more weight, considering like
what they just went through,
the
in
revelations.
in the city.
Yes. And then we get to like honestly, the kids getting powers fights are great.
Mm-hmm.
Before I move on,
So everyone gets hurt. They head back to New Asgard. Jane's down, and Thor's about to head back to go save the kids and stop them from going into eternity.
But I think part of the conversation, like in the Dark Realm, after everyone gets hurt, is they're talking about like Thor's like, like maybe once we get done, like maybe we can kind of figure this out. Like I kind of think maybe I've had a revelation. She's just like, you never like you're just flailing right now. You don't know what you want. Like you've never even really been good with kids. Like why would you even want to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's insane. It's insane that that's where you're coming to from here. Just from having one drink with Hercules, and now this is insane. You're not good with kids. We don't need to. We're past.
We're in the middle of something right now. Yeah. Let's
and also
focus on
like
that.
and also you don't want to focus on me. You don't even like. And we get the like we find Thor finding out that she's sick. Yada 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 yada. Okay, you're staying here obviously because if you become Thor again, you're gonna kill yourself. He goes, empowers the kids, but there's a little bit more of a meaningful twinge to him communicating with the children, and it's the kind of thing where it's like maybe I am kind of good with kids.
That, yep.
Like maybe I am kind of there. Oh, awesome. And even that's the perfect time for like Korg storytelling to like kind of eke in. Like there's all these moments
right before the final battle.
There's all these moments where it's like you could have Thor or you could have Korg and Thor like having the conversation in the kitchen, like interspersed throughout this. So we know we have an unreliable narrator to a degree.
Right.
We get to Gore's final plan. All the kids are fighting all the shadow things, and of course, Jane shows up. I'm not changing anything about that because I thought it was awesome. It was truly incredible, and she sacrifices himself, and that to me was like one of the few emotional moments of the film that I thought actually translated was that like when he was losing her, that like that gave him the weight to have the conversation with Gore. It was just like, but that's where the conversation changes in that like he's like I didn't realize it, but like I was. You're right. Like me trying to be a god took me away from her, and me being a god, like meant that I didn't get the one thing I loved in my life. But he's like, but if I've learned anything, that like me being a god means I can change. It means I can do whatever I want. Like if you want to kill all the gods, that's fine. But like we are capable of changing, and I am the living proof of that. And so like that's what kind of creeps Gore back in. He's just like I am a different person because of like because of all of this, I'm a different person, and I think there are a lot of bad gods out there that need to be stopped.
Yeah.
But also some of them can change. So Gore does his reversal, wishes for his daughter back, but obviously gets himself killed in the process. And then I don't think Jane's dead quite yet. The girl approaches them, and Jane's being very sweet and very kind. I think Thor, that's the moment where she looks at him and she's just like, you've always been bad with kids, but I guess gods can change, huh? And then she's gone. And then that's the moment where we realize, and then we get to the end of the movie, and we transition into Thor making pancakes in the kitchen, and it's Korg on a table.
Yeah.
But we realize that it's only just been Korg's head because he got destroyed on the kitchen table, talking to whatever her name is, the little girl,
Kid and Eternity, I guess.
I don't
know.
Talking to the little girl and just telling her about like, hey, like this
The
is
story of you.
This is the story of how we got you.
Yeah.
And like we're really glad that we have you. So yeah, be nice to Thor, okay? He went through a lot to get you. And then like that's kind of where the movie ends, and it's like Thor like doing, and I think we have a little bit more time with the kiddo, and it's like we realize that like Thor's not that good at it, but he's trying.
Yeah.
And I think it's like it's the kind of thing where I think she goes through the spaceship and she's like, this place is too big, and he's like, yeah, I just feel like we're gonna find some new people along the way, like we got to keep our hearts open for new people.
Jane says that, keep your heart open.
Yeah. And oh yeah, shit, I mentioned that so I could bring thank you.
I got you.
Yeah, it's like we got to keep our hearts open, like maybe we'll find some people that need a room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then like, so it's like Thor kind of starting his own adventure, and it's Thor starting like to come into his own, and he's building his own little family in a way.
Yep, he's finding his own family.
Because I think that's why we all gravitated to Korg, because I was like, oh, this is like one of Thor's guys. Fun.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, and I think that's...
We could do it in 2.5 hours.
Yeah. If it's going to be about him getting a daughter at the end, I need it to be about him becoming fit enough to be a parent.
Yes.
That's what, I mean, like, that's the whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fighting a father who lost his daughter the whole time.
Yes.
That's yeah. That's a good fix.
It's not the most revolutionary of things, but it's like
it didn't need to be.
No.
Much of this movie is very good in this movie. It just needs some tiny tweaks. I have not the tiniest of tweaks for my fix.
Here we go.
Yeah, strap in, everybody. Thank you for being with us for this long. I'll try to make this as succinct as possible. But, Shaboy likes to write. We mentioned earlier how, this movie could have been a Disney Plus series because the story was just kind of big enough to, kind of encompass a 6-episode show. I wrote the Disney Plus series of Thor.
Okay.
Love and Thunder.
Of course you did.
Because I had a feeling if I just did a movie too, we'd be very similar.
Very similar. I mean, like...
We talked a lot about it.
We all knew what we didn't we missed. Like...
So...
Okay.
Here's the
all right,
6
rascal.
episodes. 6 episodes.
All right.
A lot's very similar to what
I love it.
A lot's very similar to what you did.
I'm actually really excited.
So... I'm breaking this down by episodes, and I'm gonna lead to each little cliffhanger at the end.
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. Episode 1 starts the same way. Gore's scene. It's a little bit longer. He has more time with his daughter, and her death is like a little bit more like, oh god, this is how we're starting.
Oh man.
But everything else same. Gods meets some Necrosaur, chooses him, guts the god, or stabs the god in the head, and then the Necrosaur is just like, go kill all the gods, and he's like,
oh okay.
Oh yeah,
fun.
This is gonna be good.
Let the gods hit the floor.
yeah. And then again, just like the movie, we're with Thor, but this time we're not with Korg. Is in the movie, but or the show, but he's not narrating.
Okay,
I've taken that part out.
Yeah.
So we're with Thor now, and we're in that first fight scene. The fight scene that takes place after the montage. We're moving that forward. Now we're going to start there.
Oh.
Thor's still in his dad bod stage, and he does not. Some of the same stuff happens, like doing the splits, stopping the thing, being awesome. All that stuff is happening, but he doesn't have to be asked to join. Very similar to what you did of like he's fighting but is a little disinterested.
Yeah.
That's the same thing's happening here, but my change is he's a little bit more like Party Thor from What If.
Oh.
Right? So like, yeah,
he gets a little too into the fun of it.
He's a little aloof. He's he's still trying to find himself. He's trying to like find himself in a different way now than when he was as a kid.
Yeah.
But like, he's not being a douche. He's like every Guardian's best friend because like he's been hanging out with them for a while. Like he knows them, especially Rocket and Groot.
Yeah.
Like so like he's helping him out through the fight. Like they're doing cool stuff together. But like he's kind of like winning the fight on his own. But like the Guardians are helping him, and they're not just like sitting there like, I guess why are we even here? We're just gonna just swing his hammer.
Because it's not fun.
It's not fun, and he should have been having fun with his new friends, the Guardians.
I like when the Guardians they're. Yeah.
Everyone loves the Guardians. We all wanted Thor to have fun with the Guardians,
And they felt like set pieces in that first movie.
Yes.
It felt like,
Yes.
oh, the Guardians are here.
So the same battle happens. They learn about like, oh, this is your gods were killed, and like this is the ramifications. Oh, that's horrible. They get the goats. They get back on the ship, and now we have the montage of was in when Korg talks about it in the movie of like he talks to his friends, and then we have like montage with the Guardians in the movie. Well, now we're after the battle, and like we're starting to see like we're getting reports of Gore killing.
Oh.
Now we're like
Yeah.
10 minutes in, and Gore has been just going through the universe, just wiping gods out, and they're getting a lot of distress calls. So we're hitting a montage of the Guardians going to deal with some of the fallout of gods dying, plus Thor having moments with each of the Guardians individually.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
And I wrote down I think this is specific of like what he talks about with each character. Also during this flashback. So we're kind of flashing around the galaxy, seeing gods die. We're flashing around, seeing Thor talk to the Guardians.
Yeah.
And through his talks, we're also flashing, and we're getting the flashback of Thor and Jane's relationship.
Yeah.
So it's like this is a big freaking montage. A lot of information is going to be dropped in here. But like for example, like Mantis tactlessly mentions how Thor is still trying to find himself, or still seems lost. Nebula talks about like siblings, losing her sister. Thor is talking about losing his brother.
Like if anything, we're getting like we get an exposition dump just from the Guardians having coffee in the main bay while he's like still asleep or something. Is that what you're talking about?
Just no, like they have like one-on-one little scenes with each other.
Okay.
But we're just like jumping around the montage. Like we're just jumping through time because like
Gotcha.
Gore needs to kill more gods.
He needs to be an actual like existential threat to the universe.
Yes.
Yes.
So this montage is taking place over weeks. So like he can kill a lot more gods instead of just the two. So like we need them to like this is he's hanging with the Guardians for a while, and like we're talking about stuff as stuff happens. Groot of course is wise beyond his years and says a lot of Groot stuff. Rocket talks about finding the family you find.
Yeah.
And then Peter can talk about like kind of a similar speech what they had in the movie, but not at the end, but like in the montage here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not bit heavy. It's like actually just a heart to heart. And I like the fact that he talks about his mom with cancer because like he just lost his dad right before Infinity War. So like I think losing a parent recently is a good way of and he also lost his dad. Like
Yes.
there's a lot of good trauma. Good trauma. Jesus, sorry. There's a lot of trauma that Chris is
from a narrative perspective.
Yes.
Good narratively.
Good narratively.
Yes. From a storytelling perspective,
Yes.
interesting. Not that it's good. Yes.
Yes. The most important conversation he has is with Drax. Because Drax was a father and a husband. And this is where Drax really has a conversation with him about like love and loving his wife and like losing his kid and like what drove him to to be with his now family. And like this is when Thor kind of really opens up about Jane, because he never had a wife, but he did have somebody who thought he might be, and they really connect.
I think forgive me, but I think maybe the line is similar to like Drax is like they were what I fought for, and now that they're gone, I have to I will keep fighting, but for them in a different way. Like you have to have something or someone to fight for, and Thor's like I I guess I had Jane, but I don't know what do I fight for? Why do I fight? I don't know. Like, that's pretty good. I like that.
Oh,
Sorry.
while they're working out, like they're
Yeah.
he and Drax are just like like putting
Doing
up
space push-ups, I
putting
don't
up
know.
plates,
Yeah,
as he's getting,
yeah,
and he's
yeah.
also like getting rid of the dad bod, during this montage. Like this montage, there's a lot going on in this montage, but we
Yeah.
can have some fun with it because it's all over the place. But speaking of Jane, cut to Earth, and now we see Jane's story. Very similar. We back up a little bit further. She gets a diagnosis. We go through some time. She tries the chemo. It's not working. She does the lab stuff. She talks to Selwig. And then she starts to hear something tell her come to Asgard.
Yeah.
Not just books showing up. A voice talks to her.
Or even if she has the books out, like they flip open to the page.
Yes. It's a
kind of
little bit
thing.
more overt.
Yeah.
Come to Asgard. She goes to Asgard. Sees the play. That's fun. Sure. Why not? I thought that part was fun.
Are we still in episode 1?
Yeah, we're still in episode 1.
Okay.
These are all about 40 minutes long, I'm guessing. Because and time to the movie, this all can't take place before the 40-minute mark.
Yeah.
And then we see her go to the hammer, and the hammer goes and shakes, and then we see the hammer reforge in front of Jane, and Jane grabs it, and then lightning strikes Jane. Cut 2, back on the Milano, and not with Milano. Sorry. We cut to Gore killing a bunch of gods or people, and the big god that is off in the distance. We see him kill that guy. I think that was off panel in the comics, but we're going to see that happen here, and Sif's there. And we're going to see Sif try to battle Gore, and we're going to see her side of the distress call to Thor.
Okay.
This is where the episode ends. Thor, where are you? We need your help. He's insane. He's
not gonna
killing
stop.
everybody. We can't. And we just see. And then, but she's talking, and she's, and then and cut to black. Oh no,
Awesome.
Sif's in trouble. What happened to Sif?
Great.
Episode 2. Start right there with. Now we get the Guardian side of Sif's distress call.
Yeah.
And Thor's like, we got to go save Sif. We got to go get to her. Away!
Whee!
They go to help Sif. But then we cut back to Asgard. So now Jane, it's very similar to what you did. But I have Jane just having the hammer but not having the outfit on. Because Thor can have a hammer and not be geared up. So I think she just, because I want to hold on seeing the outfit yet, but she has the hammer and everyone's like, hey, Jane, it's you, high five. Like everyone loves her because it's been a couple days. Like she's the new Thor in town.
And if it's a show, we can we
Take a
really
little bit
can
of
give
time.
her a full origin, which is better.
She's hanging around with Valkyrie. Like they can open the Infinity Cone thing. Like there's a lot of stuff going on. We can spend just a little bit of time with New Asgard, just like seeing what's going on with New Asgard. But at the same time, like we do see the same thing you said. Like she fumbles with it, and we see for a hot second that she's like, oh, she's still not cured, and she's still like, no, we gotta grab that. I'm going, okay, well,
When I hold this, I feel better.
yeah, I'm just gonna.
But when I put it down, I feel even worse.
So I'm just gonna keep holding that.
It's like, oh, okay, cool, man, great. Maybe Heimdall shows up for I thought the hammer was together. Hey, she can, I don't know. Like if there's like a way to lore dump with more.
Oh sure.
We also could see more Asgardians. That's also another thing that frustrates me about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jane's and talking with Valkyrie, New Asgard, we set everything up there. Everything is great. So, but then we cut back to Thor and the Guardians. They get to Sif. Sif tells them what's going on, but Sif has no idea that Gore is heading to Asgard.
Wait, no, Heimdall's dead, isn't he?
Heimdall is dead.
Sorry, my
he
bad.
he welcomes Jane to.
You're right.
Yeah, so it's okay. So this is when Thor parts with the Guardians, just like what you came up with. Like, oh, I got to get Sif to Asgard, and they're like, there's so many people who need help from this guy who's just going around murdering a bunch of gods. Like, we need to go out there and help. I was like, friends, this is where we depart. Unfortunately, like we have to go our separate ways, and we have a very nice. A little funny because there's some bits but inside jokes that he has with everybody because he's everyone's best friend because all the Guardians like Thor and Thor likes all of them because they're
why
buds.
not? Because why not?
Because why not?
Why have him be a nuisance? Like why? Like how is that better?
I don't know. I don't know why they made that choice. So Thor and Sif go by Korg and the goats by Bifrost go to Asgard and the Guardians go off to help everybody else. Meanwhile, Gore goes to eternity. And I'm just saying this time there's instead of just showing up and then things forming around him, there's like a temple or something and there's guards there and he can just slaughter all the guards to get to the door. And he gets to the door and is like, "Oh, I can't just get in." And he's like, "Oh, you need the Bifrost badge." Oh, okay, I need to go. Okay,
Gotcha.
great. The information is now given to him now.
But it also sets up the location. in an
Exactly.
interesting
And
way.
the sword wanted him to kill a bunch of guys to get good at this.
Yeah.
Okay, now go to Asgard. Great. Traveling by shadow is faster than by the Bifrost because we need him to get there first. So Gore shows up to Asgard. Basically, the same thing happens now that happens in the movie. Stabs a sword, shadow monsters come out, then Valkyrie shows up. Oh no! Then all the parents rush out. We're watching all of this happen, and then the parents are like, "Where's Thor? Where's Thor? Thor should be here to help. We need Thor." Thor shows up. And they're like, "Thor? Like, everyone, what are you doing here?" And Korg is with Sif, and then they walk off to get Sif help. We see Sif and Korg go off to help Sif. And so then, Thor's fighting everybody, and Valkyrie's like, "Oh, it's shadow monsters, blah, 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 blah." And then, the same thing in the movie, then we see the mighty Thor show up, and it's like, now we see Jane in her outfit. And everyone, the crowd's like, "Thor!" Like, really launch into, like, now we can win the fight. Not because Thor is here, but because Jane's here.
Yeah.
And Thor's like, "Excuse me, what? How?" So there's no, we don't cut to, like, the flashback here. We just go right into it. And they're like, "Oh my God, Jane, what are you doing?" Like, "Oh, we'll talk later. Shadow, they're taking the kids." They get away with the kids. And like, "Oh no, it's credits." And about episode 2. The kids are taken and everyone's like, "Oh no."
Yeah.
Episode 3. Parents, everyone's freaking out. Valkyrie's trying to, like, hold court. Like, "We're going to figure it out. We got this." Everyone just, "We got this." The actors are not in this scene. It was not.
No, here's the thing. It was funny the first time they had them in. It was funny. And then having Melissa McCarthy come out as Hela, also very funny. But having them do a secondary bit later,
Yes.
I was like, "Oh, you guys are high on your own supply right now, and this is actually wildly unnecessary."
It's tactless.
Yeah, it was just like, that was just people having fun making a movie, and that's fine. That doesn't necessarily needs to be in the movie.
Just did not need to be there.
Yeah.
So they're not here. The parents are rightly freaked out. Valkyrie's doing his best, or her best, to, like, figure out what's going on. Thor helps. Other Thor help. Mighty Thor helps. The same base, like, everyone clear out. We're gonna figure this out. Thor takes charge. Heimdall reaches out. The same thing happens. Then this is the first time we see Thor interact with the kids, and he is not great with it.
No, because they don't want to talk to him.
Because he doesn't. Yeah. So, like, great. We see now that he's a little weird with kids. But, like, we learned earlier in episode 1, like, he and Jane were kind of headed towards this direction. We've already got this information. He and Jane were kind of headed towards this direction. He didn't exactly know, and he was kind of like, this is already established. Thor is not the greatest with kids. So then Gore has that scene with the kids. Like, he's like, "Oh, I want to be like a little," with that little thing, rips off the head of the snake or whatever. No, he was trying to be fun. There's no humor here. Gore is a murderer.
Yeah.
He's going to scare the absolute crap out of these kids.
Yeah.
But this time we're going to give him a little time to monologue these kids. Like, "This is what I'm doing. I'm killing all the gods. What kind of gods do you want to be when you grow up? You better choose right,
Yeah.
or I'm going to come get you." Like, it's terrifying what he's doing to these children.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. He's Gore the God Butcher.
Yes.
So, like,
Butcher's in his name.
it's really freaking scary what he does. So, like, they have the same plan. We got to go to Omnipotent City. We got to get a crowd. We need to go get this guy. He's got these kids. Same basic stuff happens. But this time we spend a little bit more time. And I like the fact that he bumps into Hercules. I think that's great.
It's just
Why
better.
not?
Why not?
Because
Just do it.
we have it's a series now. We have to fill out about 40 minutes. We can have a little bit of time exploring, maybe seeing just a little bit more of the city, more gods, and, like, just And in this version of events, there are a lot of gods who have been murdered the past 6 weeks. So, like, it's not all just, "Ha ha ha, we're gods, everything's great." It's like there is a little bit of, like, "Hey, did you hear that the gods from blah 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 are gone?"
Like, when Zeus says no, like, there should be a little bit more of, like, a
hey, yeah, some people.
But when he's like, we're safe here, and then everyone goes, I mean, sure.
Exactly. There should have been a little bit of a grumble when he said
fear banging around in that place.
yes.
It's
there
like
should have been more fear.
Yeah, it was more of like an like kind of it felt like a punchline machine being there.
It felt like it was more of a setup, if anything. Why are we here? They're just gonna say no to steal the Thunderbolt. Well, okay, we were only here for like 20 minutes, but like this feels like we should have been. This is more important. Omnipotent
Yes.
City is kind of important, and all these other gods, like you just opened up the universe.
Yes.
This feels like it should have been a little bit more important. Mm-hmm. Well, now we have a little bit more time. We can see more gods. There's more grumbling, but basically the same stuff happens here. But this time, Thor is a little bit more forceful with Zeus of like, hey, this stuff is real. Gods are dying. A lot of them. We need to put an end to this. We all need to chip in and help. Then exactly what you said, Zeus is like, no, we're safe here. We don't need to do anything. And there's grumbling going on, whatever. But Thor is like, you don't understand. I can't believe you're doing this. Like, there are so many gods at risk. Like, we're all at risk. Thor refuses. And Thor and Zeus get into it. Like, it's not just a thunderbolt being thrown and him catching it and throwing it back. Like, they actually get into a fight. It's personal. Thor can't believe he's fighting his hero.
Yeah.
Like, and then everyone else comes in and joins the fight or whatever. It's really cool.
He's fighting his dad's best friend, basically.
Basically.
Yeah.
They do the thing, and Thor kills him.
Yeah.
In front of everybody, and I was like, who's with me? Who's going to stop Gore? Everyone's too scared.
Yes.
Or can't believe it just happened. Valk takes the Thunderbolt, and Thor's like, then I'm going to do it.
All right, let's bounce.
Bounce, bye, and they're gone. And that's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Oh, Korg also dies.
Korg dies.
Well, they grab his stuff, but he's at this point he's dead. There's no immediate like grab the face. Oh, he's alive. He's dead. He's dead. They grab some stuff and they get out of there.
Okay.
Episode 4. The same basic stuff happens. It's after they're on the boat. They have a nice. But now we have more time. They have a nice, long, emotional chat about like, hey, what happened? What's going on? You have canceled like the same stuff, but like we have more time to fill it out. And there's no bits. This is really freaking serious.
Yeah.
They really talk about stuff.
And I feel like this is also time where Thor and Valkyrie can work out their stuff too, where she's just like, I think there could have been more setting up with like she's in charge of Asgard, but she doesn't really know what she's doing, and like it's like Thor, you just made me queen of Asgard, but I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And I was like, and there's also this all this stuff about Odin, like you know how much like prophecies in that, like you can't, we're disrupting everything, and like you're not even being my friend here, like you just bailed, you just want to go hang out with the tree and the raccoon, like screw you, dude.
Yeah. That's a great addition because this is the emotional episode of like really a lot. And
everyone can work out their shit.
And Korg is not dead because he's it's essentially kind of like this heart rock or whatever. He's like, I'm still alive, I'm here, but we find out the next episode like for a week he's dead. All right, Korg is dead for like a week.
You just want him to be dead for a little bit so you can have your serious episode and then
and then at the end, Korg can be like, hey, hello, I'm alive, everyone. Yeah. But then the same thing happens. They fight the shadows on the little planet. Like all the same stuff happens, but there's just more time on the ship beforehand, and then everything goes wrong. Stormbreaker gets taken. Valkyrie gets really hurt, not just stabbed in the back somehow, like really like run through with a necrosword, like off on through like the side, but like she's really hurt, and this is important. She's really hurt.
Okay.
Jane drops the hammer. She's like, her time's running out. Like, and they use the Bifrost to get out of there. They have Korg in a pocket, and the goats, everyone. But Stormbreaker's taken. Like, oh no, this is the end of Act 2. Oh no, Jane's out, Valk's out, Korg's a tiny rock. Stormbreaker's gone. What are we? Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay, episode 5. We regroup at the hospital. Same basic stuff with Jane, but again, a little bit more serious, and there's a little bit more. We have more time now. They can have some back and forth.
Yeah. But
Valkyrie is like really crazy hurt. Not just like, I'm all right. Yeah, but no, she's like in bed, like
she's out.
She's out. And we also have time to check in with Sif. She's doing okay. But like, is able to like Sif is like old school for, friends with Thor. So she has a little bit more perspective of like where he was hanging out with the Magnificent Tree or whatever in like the old days. And now like you really have changed, Thor. You've been through so much.
Yeah.
Like your people need you to like blah blah blah. And it's also Sif, and everyone loves Sif, and we need more Sif. So Sif gets another scene here. Gore takes the kids to the temple. It's crazy scary. He monologues more about like, oh, don't worry about the question I asked you earlier. Actually, don't worry about that because everyone's gonna die. So don't worry about that. Don't ease your minds, everyone. You're all dead soon.
Yeah.
So the kids are again super scary, and it's like, oh wait, I'm not gonna kill all the gods in this universe. I'm going to kill all the gods in all the universes. Oh, why didn't I think of that earlier? Thanks, sword. Boop, 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 boop. So basically, it's the same thing that happens in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Thor tells Jane not to come. Val questions about going alone, but this is a moment where Thor's like, "I'm not alone. I have all of you in my heart. Like, this is
nice.
I kind of realize now that all of you are important to me.
You're what I fight for.
You are what I fight for.
Like,
So-
you don't have to be there for me to fight for you.
Exactly.
What she learns from Drax.
Mm-hmm.
That's very good. I like that.
So, Thor, I'm not alone, but I gotta go save those kids.
Yeah.
Away! So same basic stuff happens now. Stormbreaker starts opening the door to eternity. Thor shows up just in time before the kids get crouched by the statue head. Gore sees him, starts summoning all the shadow creatures, and Thor goes, "Oh, well, do not tell your parents I'm about to do this. This is our secret, but everyone go grab a weapon." And then he does the same thing. He empowers all the kids.
Yeah.
But this time, since we have a little bit more time, all the kids get their own different Thor armors. And it is awesome. It's awesome. It's not just glowy eyes. The wardrobe department has their work cut out for them. You got to give the 30 of these kids, you got to give them all different Thor armors.
So freaking cute.
And that would be the kid with the little with the bunny. Like, it's just everyone gets a Thor outfit, and it's tailored to their character individually.
That's so cute.
And it's so cute, and it's so fun. Also, hey Marvel, you want more things to sell to kids?
Little Thor's
running around. It's adorable. The Guns N' Roses music starts playing, right?
Yeah,
the
man.
same shot happens. Like Thor, like he does the thing. Everyone does the chant. The lightning crashes. Everyone hits them. Their glowing weapon. Their cool ass Thor armor. And then like the two armies charge. Thor jumps up. Everything's in slow motion. He jumps up and is about to hit the first shadow monster. Credits.
Oh, cool. That's
the end.
episode 5?
That's episode 5.
Awesome.
Ooh, I would be pissed at myself. It's like, no, I didn't want. Damn me. Episode 6. Here we go. We hear like the Guns N' Roses music playing over the Marvel intro, and it's boom right into the middle of it, and the Thor is going like busting through everybody to get to Gore. The kids are fighting the shadow monsters, and since they're imbued with the power of Thor, at least for a limited time, and they have Thor armor. In the movie, they are just poning noobs.
Yeah.
This time, they're not exactly doing that.
Oh.
These kids are getting bounced around a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Like some of the older kids, like Heimdall's son, like he's doing pretty well. Some of the older kids are doing great.
Yeah.
Some of the younger ones get a cool shot in here. Like everyone's gets a little shine, but like some of the younger ones get knocked around a little bit. Like we see kids getting like knocked into walls, and like they're like, this is a battle. Like the reality is on the line here. All the gods are about to die if they don't stop Gore.
Yeah.
So like this is like fun, but also kind of serious. So like we see kids not getting hurt, but
so
like
what's the point, I guess, of that?
So it seems like they had the most.
Other than you just wanting to hurt kids.
No,
I know
yes,
that you have that in your
figured
heart.
me out, Jay. You heard it here first,
I was
everybody.
like, so what are we getting at here, bud?
So they had the tide was going on their way. He was like, oh yeah, oh my god, they're gonna win. Oh wait a second, there's more shadows just keep pouring out. And these kids are like doing all right, but like they're getting pushed back a little bit. These kids are gonna die, are they? Like, oh no.
She said the stakes a little bit more.
Set the stakes a little bit more,
Okay.
and then at a certain moment, like Thor is trying to divide his attention between the kids and the Gore, and it's like not working. And then all of a sudden, at this crucial moment, like, oh god, I think Thor's in danger. The ceiling of the temple busts in, and there's the Milano.
Yeah.
With the Guardians
I thought maybe
coming back in through the hole, and then we got Drax and Mantis and Nebula and Star-Lord and Groot all dropped, and rockets in the piloting. And then the Guardians come in and save the kids, and it's awesome.
Yes.
It's so awesome.
Yes.
But the most important thing is Drax is very good with the kids.
Yeah.
He's actually like the field general because all the kids, for whatever reason, kind of gravitate towards Drax. And Drax is stabbing the hell out of everything. It's so cool. It's so awesome. And so the tide turns again. And like Thor's like, guys, thank you guys for coming. You're my best friends. They're like, yeah, we love you, Thor. I'm like, you guys. And they do like a quick little handshake.
Because it's fine for them to like each other.
Yes.
Yes. It's way better.
The rock music is like the 70s cool rock music from Peter's like headphones are playing. Like, it's awesome. It's diegetic. It's amazing.
Yes.
It's so cool. And Thor's like, you got to get these kids out of here. You got to get back to New Asgard. And you're like, are you okay? He's like, I gotta handle this on my own, but you gotta keep the kids are the most important. You gotta save these kids. Like Guardian's like, okay,
How do I save these kids?
how do I save these kids? Everybody aboard the Milano. And Drax has got like a bunch of them like hanging off of the room or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
They get on the ship. The kids are out. Now it's just Gore and Thor one-on-one, and Thor is doing okay, but like is kind of losing a little bit. Flashback to Jane, and Mjolnir's like, hey, hi, I gotta go. And so Jane shows up. Same basic stuff happens. Now, at that point, break the hammer. They go into eternity. But this time, since we had all the emotional stuff set up over the whole episodes, especially at the beginning, the first scene of the whole thing, we had more time with Gore and his daughter.
Yeah.
And this whole scene's kind of mirroring that. Like, this, I want to wring every tear out of everyone's face with this. Like, we're going to play this to the hilt of, like, this is crazy emotional.
Yeah.
Jane really just sacrificed herself. Like, Thor realizing, like, what he is losing. He missed his chance with her. They talked to talk Gore down. Gore brings his daughter back. And I like what you did about Jane not leaving quite yet and having a moment with the kid.
Yeah.
And then with Thor. Let's keep that because that's great. That's more emotional. More tears. I want your tears. Jane dies. It's all sad. Gore dies. The kid that we see more of the. I would like to see more of the girl's reflection in the water as eternity, because those CG graphics were amazing. That shot because it's so like that's a live action shot from the comics. Oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah,
that's one of the best like transitions or translations of a comic panel to the screen. Is like, yeah, that's.
They had a couple of those in this movie.
But
like,
yeah,
a couple of them were.
But the fight on the little planet with the shadow monster was fantastic. So, everything basically happens at the end. There is the same thing. Everyone's all sad. Thor heads back to Asgard with Kid Eternity. The Guardians are there with the kids. The Guardians are hailed as heroes as well. And everyone's still hanging off of Drax. Everyone loves Drax. All the parents are like thanking him or whatever. It's great. And then Thor goes off with Kid Eternity, whatever her name is, and then she's like, hears Jade in his head, and it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. Yeah. And then we have the after credit scene, of course. The first one's Hercules, because he's like, hey, he just beat me up. He killed me. What the hell? Go take care of your friend. You gotta let him, like, even like, and remembering now that Zeus said, like, the people will fear us again. Go back to Earth or go back to the human mortal realm and be like, hey, the gods are here. What's up? We're actually important. You got to remember us.
Yeah.
So that scene's not really changed. The second scene, though, is kind of changed because this ties into what I did earlier to Valkyrie. Jane comes to Valhalla. She meets Heimdall. They have a nice moment. It doesn't cut away immediately. They start to walk off, and then we hear Valkyrie from the portal like, hey, Jane, hold on a second. I'm sorry. I have a job for you.
Oh, yeah.
Because what I'm leading to is kind of what happens in the comics, is that Valkyrie was so hurt by the Necrosword that she can't really do anything. Like, she can be King Valkyrie. Like, she can handle running Asgard. But, like, she can't be a Valkyrie. Not that she really was being a Valkyrie, but, like, if we're setting, like, things are kind of getting back to a new normal, but it needs to be a Valkyrie. Yeah. Because, like, the fact that, Jane, you got to Valhalla, like, was kind of lucky. Like, because people, we had ushers for this.
Yeah.
And
we had a whole squad.
Yeah. And so, like, ultimately, like in the comics, Jane does come back and becomes Valkyrie.
Awesome.
So.
I think that's great.
That's the series. 6 episodes. Super emotional. Really serious. Guardians are the best friends. It's fantastic.
I forgot my post-credit sequence.
Oh, okay.
My post-credit sequence because I already got Hercules out of the way.
Yeah, you did.
Because I like that her going to. I like that's really good. Her coming back and being Valkyrie. I like that. Mine is Sif wakes up in obviously Wakanda, with a new arm, and it cuts to Shuri and Bucky. And Bucky's like, I don't know. He was like, I understand that, like, I'm the robot arm guy, and she's getting I don't know why I needed to be here too for this. And Suri looks at both of them and goes, "Oh, well, I needed to upgrade some features because I needed to upgrade their ability for underwater combat." And they're like, "Why would that be?" She's like, "Just trust me." And then cuts because there has not been enough teasing of the fact that Namor is coming and no one has been saying anything. It's insane to me that Namor is going to be a part of the MCU, and we're just gonna we're gonna stroll right into it. Come on,
that's a very good point. I'm sorry. I just checked. In all caps, and you can see it. It says Sif has metal arm.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sif has a metal arm. She's training kids to. Sif has a metal arm. Sif has a metal arm. Sif has a metal arm. Don't give Jamie Alexander one arm. That's bull. Come on. She's got a metal arm. That's easy.
It's easy.
It's easy.
We've done it already.
So yeah.
Well, we fixed it.
We totally fixed it. I like both our versions. They were very good. And
There are similar ideas, but I like
yeah.
as a show, I think it actually, because if anything, what frustrated us the most is that this movie just didn't really breathe where it needed to.
didn't have enough time for the emotional weight that this story clearly had.
And I think that's why, look, I think a lot of the jokes were actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they fell flat, because I was like, you haven't earned this joke.
It wasn't balanced.
You haven't earned, like, I would like you to take this seriously now, please. Hey, Matt Damon, get out of here. I don't need another one of these jokes. I would rather take this. I don't know. I think that's it. That's the. Whew. Well, we did it.
We did do it.
This has been our longest episode yet.
Yes, it has.
Hey, thank you guys for sticking around for our fixes today. Thank you guys for listening to our show. We really enjoy making it, and we're really glad you guys are listening to it and watching it. If you are listening to this on all of your audio podcatcher apps, if you wouldn't mind leaving us 5 stars, and if you have the opportunity to write a review, that would also be super helpful. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the bell, do that YouTube. That you do so well, Guacamole's Extra. You Thor fighting weirdos, you.
You big Thor
This
fans.
one's getting 4 out of 4 Thors.
Getting 4 out of 4.
And as we end every episode here at Fix It,
Now at least.
I forgot. I even forgot what it was.
Oh,
Heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
it's a slow hammer, Jay. It's a slow hammer you don't see swinging behind you.
We'll see you guys
Rock-a-doom!
We'll see you
To the
guys-
moon, Jay!
See you guys next week.
Bye.